My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome, my curious friend. I would like to explore with you today the topic of brilliance with business. Now, if you don't have a business, you might be thinking, well, this doesn't apply to me. I should just, hang up the phone, get off the podcast. But bear with me for a minute. Do you have a future business that has been talking to you? Do you have a career that this could apply to? Or what if we could actually get into the judgment of our brilliance with everything, including business? So everything that we explore today or clear today around business, you could apply to your life in many different ways. So were you from day one told how brilliant you were? Were you acknowledged for the beyond this reality ideas that you had at the age of 2? When you started up your first, I was like, I looking back, I was always a bit of an entrepreneur. So like when you started up your first, mud pie business or kids selling lemonade on the street, you rarely see that anymore, but I did see it. I did see it this summer and it was exciting. Were you acknowledged for what you were aware of, or were you always kind of told this is how you're supposed to do it? Were you always led to believe that you didn't know until you were taught? There we go. And if you're not taught correctly, and if you're not understanding what you're being taught, then you're going to fail. What if that's not true? What if you have a brilliance with business that no one's been able to acknowledge, including you? And sometimes people can't acknowledge it because they don't get it. They don't get it. Especially if you're one of those big idea people like me. I understand that. I would have these grand ideas, okay? And I'd be like, we could do this and this would be so great. And I would bring it to like whatever company I'm working for. And they'd be like, whoa, like that would never work. Well, like all these weird excuses that just were always heavy for me. And this is clue number 1. And we've talked about this on the show before. That which is true for you will always have a sense of lightness. That which is not true for you is always going to feel kind of heavy. So I wish I had the tools then, because when it was heavy, what the excuses they were saying to me and how they were saying it wasn't going to work, or it was too much or too whatever, had such heaviness to me. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have been like, that's a lie. No, they might not even know that they're lying, but it's just not true in my universe. My universe is, this is not only possible, this is going to be unbelievable. So many, many times I heard this in many, many different jobs. I was always kind of an innovator and I'm like, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And sometimes they would take some of my ideas, or they would take this grand idea and like narrow it down to like the smallest little bit of it. And it would create some kind of, result or change, but not the bigness of what I was aware of. And that was always frustrating. And I started to kind of believe maybe I'm just not brilliant in this area. But the universe was not going to let me buy that bullshit. And I'm not going to let you buy that bullshit about you. What I started to notice, and this is what I'm going to ask you to kind of look over your life and pay a little attention to, is what I started to notice is that ideas that I had and that everyone was like, no, no, no. 5 years later, they would suddenly have this brilliant idea and do my exact idea, or very close enough, but they didn't have me there to help execute it, so they only had what I had given them, and it was always successful. So this brings us to the topic of being a futurist. Some of us weird, wacky wizards are futurists. That means we can perceive 10, 15, thousands of years into the future. And sometimes the creations that we're aware of are for the future, or the creations we're aware of are to catalyze a future. And it's very helpful to know this about you, to explore this in your own world, so that you have more clarity, and really so that you can acknowledge the brilliance of you. Because when you are a futurist, unless you're talking to another futurist, they often just cannot even receive it. They can't perceive what you have in your awareness. It's not their fault. It's just like their scope is here, and your scope is like here. And you're going, but all this. And they're like, what do you mean? All I see is this. And you're like, no, but all this. And they're like, I don't see it. No, it's not possible. No one's wrong in this scenario. It's just an awareness of the difference and the difference of you. So as I started to see this time and time again, it just kept happening. And I was like, so here I am being told no. Here I am being told, like, basically being like disregarded for my brilliance, my brilliance with business being negated, and then me seeing it come to fruition. And I had to start acknowledging, wow, I just have a brilliance that others don't have. That was uncomfortable, because I've never wanted to, I avoided arrogance my whole life, like, desperately. Like, I didn't want to come off as arrogant or superior. I didn't want to be that way. I wanted everyone to feel comfortable around me, feel included around me. But what I realized is acknowledging my brilliance in an area actually isn't superiority. It's just an acknowledgement. Like, trees are so good at being trees, and flowers are so good at being flowers. Not one is superior. They're just so different. And then I could relax into that acknowledgement. And that is when things started to really change for me in my own business, because I could then start to trust that even if what I was like, we're going to do this, and even if everyone was like, you're crazy, I knew it was going to create something. I knew the exact result that I expected was going to come to light. That's not awareness, that's conclusion. That's not activating and exploring your brilliance with business. That's like trying to presume reality. That doesn't mean that you don't have an awareness of like, ooh, if we do this, my sense is this is the future we're going to create. That, again, is awareness. Do you see how expanded and open it is? But from that, like, that trying to get a result will always stop your business. Every time you're trying to, like, your target is a result rather than a possibility. So when I started to trust me and my capacities with business, all these, like, possibility upon possibility, and possibilities that I hadn't even fathomed were showing up, which grew my trust in my own abilities. It's kind of like the kid learning to ride the bike, and they're like, I can't do it. I'll never be able to do it. And then they're on it for like, whoa, I did it for like 5 minutes. Oh, I did it for 10 minutes. Oh my God, I did it for like, I could go all the way down the street. And you start to build that up. So if you're one of those people that have felt like, I just suck at this, I'm no good at this, let's first start with just clearing that out. And everything you bought about you with business and your your lack of capacity, your capacity that wasn't a capacity, and everything else in between, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, BOD, all named shorts, boys, to be honest. If you're new to the show, that was the Access Consciousness clearing statement. I use it probably at least once every show. We'll always have a link in the description if you want to check out more, but today it's just simply something we use. The statement like clears out energy as if by magic. So we want to bring up the energy and then we clear it out. And then you have a fresh start to look at like, okay, what is my brilliance with business? So ask yourself that. What is your brilliance with business? You might be getting ideas. You might be getting pictures in your head. You might be having memories of things that you had for ideas or innovations, or you might just be getting an energy, or you might be thinking you're not getting anything, and you probably are. So what is your brilliance with business? What brilliance with business do you have that no one else can perceive, know, be, or receive? And would you allow yourself to know, be, perceive, and receive it, please? Anything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and integrate it, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, BOD, all named shorts, boys, ads, and beyonds. Okay. Energy's starting to move a little bit more. It was a little thick there in the beginning. I thought this would be a light, easy topic. And then as I got into it, I was like, oh, there's a lot on this. And it can start like even as simply as being in school, and maybe you think, oh, this is exactly what the teacher wants. And then you do some report or some project and you get really bad grades, and that starts to wear on you. It starts to break down your confidence and your trust in your abilities. If you didn't do really well in math, you might think, oh my God, if I can't do basic math, then, basic, whatever that is. If I can't do math, then how am I going to do the accounting? Then how am I going to run a business? Then all these things. So we kind of collect all these lies about ourselves, and you're going to perceive people's projections on you. So let's say you never owned a business before, and you're like, I'm going to start a business, and you have people around you. Unfortunately, not all of us have really supportive people around us. And that's what I meant about growing up. Some of us did. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but a lot of us didn't. A lot of us didn't have that. And then we didn't have teachers that believed in us, and we didn't have parents or family that believed in us. I can, oh my God, I have so many stories of times where I'm like, I'm going to be a writer. And boom, someone's criticism. And I bought it and believed it. And everywhere you've bought and believed any of that criticism, those projections, those rejections and judgments of you, will you destroy and create those, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, BOD, all named shorts, boys, ads, and beyonds. And it's just someone else's point of view. And really point of view. So this is their viewpoint. This is all they can see here. And you're looking over here, and you're making their criticism and judgment of you more valuable and more real than what you can perceive beyond what they can. Now, brilliance with business is not what you might expect it to be. Brilliance with business is not you have everything right. You have all the revenue coming in. You have this many followers. It's so diverse because you might have aspects of brilliance with business and then require to bring people in for the other pieces. Or you might have this huge overview brilliance with business, and then having people assist to run the groundwork is really helpful. Or you can do it all, but you don't want to do it all. So you've been avoiding and resisting it. There's so many things to brilliance with business. It can be the brilliance of ideas. It could be the brilliance in your capacity to move ideas. It could be your brilliance in your capacity to connect ideas to people, to things, to energies. It can be all of this. There can be so much. And that's one of the things I love about business is the creative playground it is. It's not just one moving thing. Okay. It's not a assembly line and take coffee mug, put in box. I'm gonna have a sip of this. That's good. It's not that linear, and it's not that singular, and it's like this beautiful complexity of energies and possibilities. And your brilliance is going to be unique to you. So where you shine, where you're brilliant in business might be very different than where I'm brilliant in business. But the first thing you got to get to is being willing to acknowledge that you have a brilliance with business to begin with, even if you've never done it before. Because here's the thing. One, you've probably had more than one lifetime. You might not have that belief system. I have that. That's true for me when I tap in, that I've had multiple lives. Yes, I've had multiple lives. How many lifetimes have I had where I was really successful with business? So why would I not have that now? I might not have the cognitive memory of it, but your being doesn't lose its brilliance. Your being doesn't lose what it knows. Also, we can connect up to consciousness, the ocean of oneness that we all are. And you can, from there, receive everything that you require to run a successful, profitable, amazing business. These are just skills that you have to play with and learn and develop. And that was part of my journey as I went on, like I just kept going, even though I felt like I was stumbling and I felt like I was messing up. And then sometimes I was like, but every time I went with what I knew, I'm like, I'm just going to do this. I don't care. I don't care if everyone thinks I'm crazy. I'm just going to do this. It always created more possibility every single time. Every single time. So then I couldn't deny it anymore. And I would love for you to have that. And if it's not business, like I said in the beginning, it might be a different topic for you. It might be a brilliance somewhere else. It might be a brilliance with money, a brilliance with bodies, a brilliance with some kind of skill, music, art. Where have you decided you didn't have a brilliance in some area that you truly do have a brilliance? So clear out those lies and then start to explore your brilliance. If you have fun playmates that can, like friends, lovers, family, that can actually have the capacity to acknowledge your brilliance, what if you're willing to receive that? What if when someone's like, oh my God, you're so good at hosting parties, you weren't like, oh yeah, it's not a big thing. You actually like, wow, I am really brilliant at this. I have a talent with this. And that doesn't mean you ever have to turn it into something that generates income. But acknowledging that brilliance is a step forward into trusting you and acknowledging the greatness of you. And when you acknowledge something, it grows. So if you were like, wow, I'm great in this area, then you'll have more greatness in that area. It's just so simple. So what brilliance with business do you have that you haven't yet acknowledged, that if you did, would give you the confidence, the inspiration, and the infinite possibilities for creating the business you always dreamed of? Anything that does not have that, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POC, all in shorts, boys, poets, FBL. Well, I think we did what we came here to do, my friends. That's a cool space. Please play with that. Please explore. I would love for more people to get how phenomenal, brilliant, beautiful, wonderful they are. I really would. Because, man, what a fun living. What a fun way to live your life, to just be like owning your greatness, owning your awesome, as my wonderful friend Chris says, own your awesome. And what would that change for your life? What would that change for your business and for everything to come? Thank you for joining me in the Curious Universe. I will see you next episode. Brilliant you. Bye for now. Thank you for exploring the Curious Universe with me. Your curiosity matters? And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?